also noticed a small gray animal swimming amongst the water with the belugas. That's Daisy. She is a harbor porpoise. Is it anybody's first time ever seeing a harbor porpoise? Hands up if you're seeing a harbor porpoise for the first time. Amazing. Is anybody thinking, Natalie, I have no idea what a harbor porpoise is. Could you tell me? Thank you so much for your honesty. Now, although they do look very similar to dolphins, they're actually much more closely related to belugas. And Daisy came to us through our Marine Mammal Rescue Center. She was found stranded at a very young age. When she came through our rescue center, she couldn't even swim. She couldn't keep her blowhole above the water to keep herself breathing. So for the first short while, we were actually holding Daisy 24 hours a day. Now, she did go through extensive physiotherapy and made an incredible recovery, but she was deemed non-releasable by the government. And that was due in part to her age of rescue. She was only a couple of weeks old when she was found, so she wouldn't have yet developed those essential survival skills, like how to find food and how to evade a predator. Now, joining our beautiful belugas and our porpoise Daisy are our amazing marine mammal trainers. On my left-hand side here, we have Anna. Over on the rock, we have Rachel, and hiding in the audience amongst you, we have Indy with the kind of Q-tip-looking item. So let's give them all a round of applause to welcome them to this session. As you can see, this is exactly why belugas are known as the canaries of the sea. They have a whole wide range of vocal abilities. But it's really important that we have animals here at the aquarium to connect folks like you to those important ocean issues affecting these animals right now. But they are also perfectly adapted to life in the oceans, and some of the ways they are is through their ability to navigate. Now, does anyone know what is that fancy name we use for when whales, dolphins, and porpoises use sound to navigate? Shout it out if you think you know. Well, I'm not hearing it. Echolocation. Yeah, if you take a look at the belugas at the front of their head, you'll see an area known as the melon. As you can see, they do have the ability to move it. It's a waxy substance surrounded by muscle, and that's what they use to send out beams of sound. So those beams of sound are sent out through the water, bounce off objects and animals underneath it, and come right back to the belugas and porpoises. And that's how they can navigate around their surroundings. Because don't forget, being up in the Arctic, belugas can potentially be in darkness for months at a time. So they can't always rely on their keen eyesight. Now, not only are these both amazing navigators, these species also have amazing feeding abilities. They both have flexible lips, and they have the ability to create some pretty impressive suction as well. So what they'll do is they'll head down to the bottom, open their mouths really quickly to create that suction and suck in any prey. If you were taking a look at Keela, you'll notice that belugas have actually gone one step further than porpoises. They have the ability to create that spit of water. Now, it may look really cool to see, but it's actually a really unique adaptation that they have. They'll use that spit down at the bottom to uncover all of those small invertebrates and animals underneath the sand, and then use that intense suction to suck them back up. Now, of course, having the animals here not only means we can connect them to you, it also means we can take part in some incredible research opportunities. But of course, that would not be possible without the strong relationship between the animals and the trainers. So who better to tell you about it than a trainer themselves? I'm going to pass you over to Anna. She's here on my left, and she's going to tell you a little bit more.
Thank you. Hello, everybody. Giving you a wave over here so you can see where the voice is coming from. Thanks for waving back. Yes, on this training session, I've been working with the 3 of our cetaceans in this exhibit, and I've been very lucky to build a strong relationship with each single one of them. Right now, for example, I have Daisy in front of me, presenting her dorsal. And these kind of behaviors are actually the most important behaviors we train here at the Vancouver Aquarium. These behaviors are called husbandry behaviors, because these behaviors allow us to make sure we can perform a voluntary body exam on them every single day. We can ask them to show us their dorsal, to touch our hand right in front of us, just like this, or even asking them to open their mouths so we can take a look at inside their mouths as well. And we can pretty much check every single part of their bodies. And if there is anything that we believe it could be a concern for us, what we can actually do is call veterinary staff to come all the way down here so they can also take a look at it. And if they believe it's necessary, we can ask for what we call an advanced husbandry behavior. So for example, this position that I have Daisy right now is a position that we could use to give them some eye drops, for example, or to perform an ultrasound, voluntary ultrasound on her. Or even if we wanted to, we can actually get a blood sample from every single one of the animals living in this exhibit. And that's just to make sure that they're going to be nice and healthy from the outside and also from the inside. So that way we're always making sure we're providing them with the best care possible. And actually, if you look at Rachel in the middle of the exhibit right now over there with one of our belugas, you'll be able to see the blood draw position that we have trained with our animals here. That's the position we will use to voluntarily obtain a blood sample from them. Now, these kind of behaviors are very useful for us, as I was mentioning to you, to make sure that they are nice and healthy. But these behaviors also allow us to participate in meaningful research projects that can help researchers to gain a better understanding of these species and hopefully help the wild populations as well. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Hannah. Let's give Hannah a huge round of applause. That was pretty darn cool, learning all about that training process. Yeah, it's really important that we do practice these behaviors on a daily basis to make sure the animals are comfortable with them and that it's always a positive experience. I'm sure you have taken part in your own healthcare and husbandry behaviors. Has anyone ever had to have an ultrasound? Anyone ever had to give blood? And anyone ever had to, most embarrassingly, pee in a cup? Yes, we've all had to do that to make sure that we are just as healthy on the inside as we are on the outside. But of course, it also means we can take part in those amazing research projects. One of my absolute favorites is with Daisy, the harbor porpoise. We had researchers that were really interested to know, can we see porpoises using sound? So we were talking about echolocation earlier and how these animals are able to use it to navigate. Well, researchers want to know, can we use it to count these animals out in the ocean? Because I think you'll agree with me, once Daisy disappears below the surface of the water, she is impossible to see by eye. So it's really hard for us to get a grasp of the harbor porpoise population along our coastline. Now, if we could create a porpoise fish finder, per se, then we'd be able to count the numbers along our coastline, maybe see what areas they utilize the most, and then be able to better inform policymakers to protect the areas that are most important to these species. Now, we couldn't do any of that incredible work or care for these beautiful animals without folks like you. The Vancouver Aquarium is a non-profit conservation organization. So just by coming through our doors today, any money you spend at the cafe and gift shop goes right back into not only caring for these amazing animals, but also right back into those research projects as well as our Marine Mammal Rescue Center. So on behalf of myself, our amazing marine mammal team, and of course the beautiful animals Keela, Aurora, and Daisy, we'd like to give you a huge wet thank you, Splash Zone, for joining us here today. We are so grateful for your support. I think that brings us to the end of our training session. So thanks so much for joining us, everybody. Have a wonderful rest of your day here at the aquarium. Thank you so much. If you're wondering what on earth is coming up next, well, it is currently 12 minutes past 2, and at 2:30 we have a daily feature program. It changes every day, so I'm not sure what it is, but there is an electronic screen as you're leaving. Check it out. If you do have any questions, though, my name is Natalie. I would love to answer them for you. Thanks so much for joining us, folks. Have a wonderful afternoon.